sa such a person as I am, cha also aham I am, vitta lobhena for being allured by greed for money, for being allured by greed for money. Please respond after me. Pratyachakshe, I shall cheat or say no when I have already said yes. Katham, how? Dvijam, especially to a Brahmana. Pratishrutya, after already having promised. Dadami, that I shall give. Iti, thus. Praharadi, I who am famous as grandson of Maharaj Prahlad, Kitava, an ordinary cheater, Yatha, just like. Translation: I am the grandson of Maharaj Prahlad. How can I withdraw my promise because of greed for money when I have already said that I shall give this land? How can I behave like an ordinary cheater, especially toward a Brahmana? Purport: Bali Maharaj had already been blessed by his grandfather Prahlad Maharaj. Therefore, he was a pure devotee. Although born in a family of demons, there are two kinds of highly elevated devotees called Sadhana Siddha and Kripa Siddha. Excuse me. Sadhana Siddha refers to one who has become a devotee by regular execution of the regulative principles mentioned in the Shastras as ordered and directed by the spiritual master. If one regularly executes such devotional service, he will certainly attain perfection in due course of time. But there are other devotees who may not have undergone all the required details of devotional service, but who, by the special mercy of Guru and Krishna, the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, have immediately attained the perfection of pure devotional service. Examples of such devotees are Yagyapatnis, Maharaj Bali, and Shukadev Goswami. The Yagyapatnis, although were the wives of ordinary Brahmanas, engaged in fruitive activities. Although the Brahmanas were very learned and advanced in Vedic knowledge, they could not achieve the mercy of Krishna Balaram, whereas their wives achieved complete perfection in devotional service, despite their being women. Similarly, Vairochani, Bali Maharaj received the mercy of Prahlad Maharaj, and by Prahlad Maharaj's mercy, he also received the mercy of Lord Vishnu, who appeared before him as a brahmachari beggar. Thus Bali Maharaj became a Kripa Siddha because of the special mercy of both Guru and Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirms this favor. Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lada Bij. Bali Maharaj, by the grace of Prahlad Maharaj, got the seed of devotional service. And when that seed developed, he achieved the ultimate fruit of that service, namely love of Godhead. Prema Pumartho Mahan. Immediately upon the appearance of Lord Vamanadev, Bali Maharaj regularly maintained devotion. Immediately upon the appearance of Lord Vamanadev, Bali Maharaj regularly maintained devotion for the Lord, and because he was purified, the Lord appeared before him. Because of unalloyed love for the Lord, he then immediately decided, I shall give this little dwarf Brahmana whatever he asks for me. This is a sign of love. Thus, Bali Maharaj is understood to be one who received the highest perfection of devotional service by special mercy. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So every week the discussion is going on Srimad Bhagavatam. This part of Srimad Bhagavatam of transcendental pastimes between Lord in the form of a dwarf Brahmana known as Vamanadev and Bali Maharaj, who is a demon basically, born in the demoniac family. His father was Verochan, grandfather Prahlad Maharaj was a pure devotee, but great grandfather was Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlad Maharaj. So he is considered a demon in that way because the lineage is in that side. And we have seen that how before this there was a big fight between the demigods and demons, and Bali Maharaj was killed in that fight by the demigods. But Shukracharya, who is the priest of the demons, and he's so powerful, he has so many mystic powers that by his potency he brought Bali Maharaj back to the life, who was already dead in the war, but he was brought back to the life by his guru, Shukracharya. So unlike today, he was very grateful to his guru, not like today. So many people do so many things for us. Obviously, one thing is that many people do favors to us in order to gain something. Most of the people in the world. That is why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, our great Acharya, he says, this world is full of cheaters and cheated. And that's why people have lost trust. So that is Kali Yuga, the age of hypocrisy. But Bali Maharaj had a lot of gratitude for Shukracharya. And he was ready to lay down his life for Shukracharya. Because why we are focusing, we'll focus much on Guru, because in this he's talking about the Guru. And then once he's doing yajna, so now when he was brought back to life and he was given so much power that Bali Maharaj alone defeated all the demigods. A demigod has to actually flee, leaving their kingdom behind. With their families, they run away. So we see then Bali Maharaj became the king of the entire universe practically. And then here he is doing yajna. So demigods are little worried. They don't have everything, they have lost. They have nothing now in their possession. So they went to their mother Aditi. So they prayed, and Aditi also did some penances and sacrifices and austerities in order to gain the favor of Lord. So the Lord said, okay, I will appear as your son. That is why one of the name of Vamandev is Upendra. The younger brother of Indra is called Upendra. So he was born, he was the 12th child of Aditi, Mother Aditi. So then now he is come, he is appeared, and you have read all that. when he appeared, all the demigods came, they prayed to Lord, they gave some gifts to Lord. Someone gave the deer skins, kamandalu, and then belt, straw belt, and the thread. So many different gifts were given to Vamandev. And then he has come here to now actually take everything back from Bali and give it back to Indra. Though Bali Maharaj is in the family of demon, we will see how he is one of the greatest devotees. He is the Mahajan, one of the 12 Mahajans. We have 9-fold processes. We say Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. 9-fold processes. In that, Bali Maharaj shows Atma Nivedanam. He surrenders everything. That we will see in due course of time. And that is here. He is, in this verse, Bali Maharaj will show that conviction that he is ready to surrender everything. So then Vamandev comes and Vamandev asks to Bali that he is doing yajna. So any Brahmana comes to your yajna-shala or the place where sacrifice is going on, he is asking something as a Kshatriya, it is his duty to give. This tiny, small little boy is coming, and then Bali Maharaj is asking, so what do you want? And he said, I want 3 steps of land. And Bali Maharaj started laughing. He said, come on, you must be joking. You have come to the king of the universe and you are asking only 3 steps of land. And that too, you are so small in height that your steps are very small. You ask, I can give you an island, I can give you a continent, I can give you a planet, I can give you a universe. You ask me. But Lord has His plan. Lord has in mind that yes, definitely I'll take the universe back, don't worry. You don't have to give, I will take it back. So, yeah, a lot of philosophy goes on. See, it's practical. What Bali Maharaj is also talking, it's practical. Suppose you go to Prime Minister, a president of the country, and he is happy and he is ready to give you. He is saying, okay, ask whatever you want. And you say, my dear sir, my electricity bill is pending, rupees 180. Can you please clear that off? You are president of country. My electricity bill is pending with government. I'm not able to pay 180 rupees, 200 rupees. Can you sign it off? The President of India, he can give electricity for 10 years free of cost. And you are just asking 200 rupees. That's actually childish. So Bali Maharaj is saying, but then Lord Vamanadev preaches a wonderful philosophy here. He says to Bali that if one is not satisfied with whatever he has or whatever he needs and that is given, he will never be satisfied even if we give him the entire creation. So here it is about satisfaction. It said, no? There is enough for everyone's need, but not for even one man's greed. Today, Srila Prabhupada explains so many times that this earth planet has so much capacity. We are talking that there is shortage of food because population is so much increasing, it is over 7 billion. But Krishna has capacity, unlimited. And Mother Earth, Srila Prabhupada says, Mother Earth can supply food grains for 10 times more population than present population. Where is the question of shortage? Annat bhavati bhutani parjanya anna sambhavat. By sacrifice, demigods are pleased, Krishna is pleased, and then they shower the mercy in the form of rain, and the Mother Earth is pleased because so much people are following Vedic culture. She will automatically give the grains. Now she is restricted because people have become greedy. They are exploiting. So because of their exploitative nature, Mother Earth is not giving. And so there is shortage. Now you see, it's rainy season. Rainy season should start June 2nd week. But now July is ending. Still many states of India, there is no rain. hardly 1 or 2 times. And Bombay is raining heavily. Even though there's requirement of rain, but there's no as such farming going on in Bombay, and so much rain. And people say, "Oh, my Lord, today is Sunday. I thought I'll go out with family, and here's rain." And if there is lot of heat, they blame again. If there is cold, they blame. Why? Because we are not satisfied with anything. A person who's satisfied, he doesn't demand anything, he doesn't blame anyone. So, Bali Maharaj started, Vamanadev, Lord Vamanadev started preaching this philosophy, and Bali Maharaj accepted. He said, "Okay, I will give you 3 steps of land." And then he took the vow that I'll give you. He committed in front of fire, sipped water. But then Shukracharya, who was seated beside Bali Maharaj, who was his priest, Purohit in Hindi se. Purohit matlab Parahit. The Yajman was Bali Maharaj. To think and to do good for Bali, he is the Purohit. So that was his duty to save Bali Maharaj. So that's why he was telling. You see, last verse, last week we heard. The dharma means first you should protect yourself, your family, you should take care of your needs. That is dharma. And then he told, Shukracharya told that he is not an ordinary Brahmana. He is Vishnu, who has come here to cheat you. Who will, in 3 steps, he will take everything from you. See, that was potency of Shukracharya. He knew everything. He knew what is going to happen in future. And he is warning. In a way, he is testing his disciple whether he is ready to give or not. So here the test is going. And then now this scene is set, and now Bali Maharaj is replying, saying that what is dharma? Last week we saw Bali Maharaj said, as you have already stated, the principles of religion that does not hinder one's economic development, sense gratification, fame and means of livelihood is the real occupational duty of the householder. I also think that this religious principle is correct. But that we studied, we discussed last week, that principle is the low class. It's not the highest principle of dharma. In this verse, he is presenting what is higher principle, what is highest, topmost principle. Where he says, I am grandson of Maharaj Prahlad. I am not an ordinary person. He is telling to his guru. I am grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad is known for one thing, for his pure, unalloyed devotional service to Lord Krishna. That is what Prahlad is famous for. And here he is saying, generally we go out, and sometimes we take names of our ancestor. I am so and so's son and grandson and granddaughter. So and so was my great grandfather. You don't know that. People talk about that. So here he is telling to Shukracharya, are you not aware that I am the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, who is a devotee of Lord Krishna? How can I withdraw my promise because of greed for money? Just today you go, that time they were just promised, no? Today if you have to purchase a small vehicle, you have to sign so many documents, and you have to register this vehicle in our name. What to talk of land, small tiny piece of land. And here is the deal which is happening of the entire universe. Just based on words. That was the honesty that time. That was, people were so truthful. Even demons were truthful to a certain extent. How can I withdraw my promise because of greed for money when I have already said that I shall give this land? How can I behave like an ordinary cheater, especially toward a Brahmana? So one should not become a cheater, one thing is that, and especially toward a Brahmana. And then Srila Prabhupada turns this purport towards the mercy of Guru and Krishna. And that is what we'll discuss today in next 45 minutes. So yeah, Prabhupada explains in the purport, and then I was just hearing one lecture of Srila Prabhupada, where he says that in order to enter the spiritual life, in order to enter the spiritual realm, we need two things. What are those two things? There is mercy of Guru and mercy of Krishna. So we need these two personalities to enter into spiritual circle. Guru and Krishna. ब्रह्मांड भ्रमित कोनो भाग्यवान जीव Guru Krishna prasade पाए bhakti lata बीज. And here Prahlad Maharaj is saying, in purport he is saying, that by the mercy of Prahlad, I got the seed of devotional service. So Guru gives the seed of devotional service. And now, it is mentioned, actually Prabhupada mentioned that he didn't allow that seed to dry up. It's not, okay, I got seed. No, he nurtured. And devotion towards Krishna grew further. And the result is, he attained love of God, and that is what? God is present in front of him. Krishna personally, if present in front of some personality, that means he is not an ordinary person. He would have done so much in bhakti. He would have practiced the principles of devotional service, pure devotional service. So both the things happen. Mercy of Guru and mercy of Krishna. So, like in this very famous prayers, which is called Gurvashtakam, written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, which we sing every day in the morning, Sansara Davanala, Lala Lead Loka. So, these 8 stanzas talk about the qualities of Guru. And the first talks about Guru is like a cloud. Like we are sitting in Bombay. So what happens? See, ocean is just walking distance, 2 minutes walking distance from is the ocean. So generally, the sun takes a lot of water from the ocean and forms the cloud, and then it rains. Okay. Now, if the water is evaporated from the ocean and immediately goes back to the ocean, what is the use? Yeah. Suppose that would be the phenomena in the world. Wherever there is water body, water will be evaporated and again back. So land will always become dry. Everywhere there will be only desert. Yeah. Okay, Bombay walas will get all the rains and then get flooded, over flooded. Yeah. But people inside, interior, they'll never get water. Yeah. Hardly small lakes are there, not even rivers, now only tributaries are left. Canals, rivers have become canals because of Kali Yuga. So how will they get water? There's no source of water. So clouds, mercifully, they are formed here, but they go interior and then they give mercy in the form of rain everywhere without any discrimination. It is that cloud never discriminates when it pours water, whether it is stone or whether it is land or whether it is desert. Just indiscriminately pours mercy. Now, if there is fire, if there is a big fire, generally, if there is a small fire in one room, fire brigade comes and extinguishes. But if there is a big fire, like forest fire, you cannot do anything. Like what they do nowadays, the modern science, if there is big fire, they take lot of many helicopters filled with tons and tons of water, and they have sprinklers. So they go over the fire, forest fire, especially in Australia and America, there's a lot of forest fire. So they go, travel continuously, so many planes will be going and sprinkling water like rain, and then it will come down. But that also takes some time, doesn't come on. Fire is so blazing. So when fire is blazing, then what is needed to extinguish is rainwater. Is that mercy in the form of rainwater which is coming from clouds. So that is the meaning of, and now this world is compared to blazing forest fire. Why? Everywhere we see there is a war. Everywhere. Prabhuji, what? Now there's no war, everywhere is peaceful. Some things here and there are going, otherwise things are peaceful. Is there war everywhere or not? No. War is there? Is there war in this room now? Yes? Yes, in the mind. Someone may be thinking, Hare, I have important work to do. What, sitting here and hearing Bhagavatam? Where is temple going? Where is Bhagavatam going? And where is devotee going? Next Sunday. And nowadays facility, they are recording. I can take recording and hear. But now important work. But how to get up? What others will think? That I am not interested. Not look good. So the war is going on in the mind. So war is not only between nations. It's not between only between nations, one nation to another nation, then between one family to another family, then between families, husband, wife, brothers, one corporate to another corporate, so many. One political party to another political party. Then war within our own mind. So what is one thing which war creates? Destruction, frustration, negativity. And that is like forest fire. In forest fire, grossly everything burns. In wars, burns. But the internal war, it burns our heart. It may not appear there is a fire or something, but it is burning sensation we can feel. So today in this world, we are surrounded by this burning sensation. How to get mercy? So then we need those clouds. And those clouds are compared to the spiritual master, the Guru. And he will come in our life and he will shower his mercy. And like rain coming from the clouds. And then everything will be quietened down. And it will flourish. So it's very important to understand this most important aspect of devotional service, that we require, it's essential, we need spiritual master. And in that direction, even I was hearing that even if someone just chants and practices the principle of devotional service without spiritual master, there will be some benefit, but he will not attain the supreme benefit, which is love of God, which is Krishna Prem. That's not possible. Even if you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, some benefit will be there. But when we do under guidance of some authority, here the word authority does not mean the authority like Hitler. It's like a small child. Sometimes these girls, small 3-4 year girl, 3-4 year girl, she will have sometimes, she will see her mother is cooking every day. I also want to cook. Okay. Then from the big dough of atta you take little bit, then start rolling. You have your own rolling pin, small. Now you need a stove to cook. And fire, whether small or big, it is fire. You can give everything to the small child, but not fire. And then if she is persisting, oh, now I want to, cook my own chapati. Okay, now you have to give fire. So then it has to be given under guidance. So similarly, when we do things so their mother is like an authority. So when we do things under guidance of spiritual master, then things flourish. Guidance of devotees, senior devotees, who are guiding us in our spiritual life. That is the role or the function of Guru. And here Srila Prabhupada says, there are two types of devotees, sadhana siddha and kripa siddha. Now kripa siddha is very rare. That is very special mercy, like Bali Maharaj himself. And Shukadeva Goswami, example Srila Prabhupada is giving. But for us, it is sadhana service. Sadhana siddha. We practice devotional service. We practice devotional service by following the rules and regulations. It's like we go to doctor. If we have some small disease, big disease, whatever, we are diseased. So we go to doctor. Sometimes devotees go to not devotees, anyone goes to, people go to, some tantric, or sometime in Christians, they go to, they have the group of people who will come, bring photo of Jesus, and they will recite some prayers, and somehow you'll get okay. That's okay. But can we do for everything? Will it work? Now we go to doctor. So suppose we go to doctor and doctor says that, my dear patient, you give me 50,000 rupees and I will bless you and you will be all right. Maybe possible. If doctor has those siddhis, like people used to have. But that's not possible. It's a rare case. So then what we have to do? We have to follow certain norms, like following the medicine, whatever prescriptions are given. And along with prescription, there are proscriptions, which is something which we have to avoid. And then there's a diet to be followed. Now what happens if we don't follow? We are taking regular medicine. A typhoid patient, he may take regular medicines, but every day, 3 times in a day, he is eating oily food. Then he will say, Hare, itne din se dawai le raha hu, no effect. This doctor is bogus. He is giving duplicate medicines. He is just looting. He is cheating me, taking so much money. Whose fault it is? It's our fault. We are not following the procedure properly. Now you may say, okay, so I'll go to other doctor and I'll follow the procedure. But the other doctor should be also capable. So we have to see the doctor should be capable, the medicine should be right, and we should be determined to follow the diet. So these 3 things will help us. It's like there are some people who chant also and who kind of eat non-veg also. Sometimes they take up process. We say, okay, at least you chant. You are chanting. Some students sometimes take up chanting, but they say, sir, I cannot leave non-vegetarian. Okay, no one. Carry on. Some effect will happen. Hare Krishna Mahamantra has the purity. Eventually, he'll be inspired by Krishna to leave. That is okay. But if we want to advance further, then we should be very pakka in following these rules and regulations, following the medicine and the diet. Then we'll get proper mercy and proper treatment. So what happens with the mercy of Guru? So then in the Vedic literatures, old time, there was one Guru and there's a disciple Aruni. 3 disciples are there. So one of the disciple, now Guru has a Gurukul and he has few disciples, So villagers came once to Guru that because of lot of rains, there's a flood, a river, in the river, and it's nearby. And all the water is coming towards our fields. And whatever temporary arrangement we did, like a dam, they used to, lot of sort of boundary they used to give, made up of mud. There was no concrete that time. But now the water pressure is increasing so much that it will destroy that mud wall, and the water will come in the village and everything will be destroyed. So they came to a Guru. He is a sadhu, he will give guidance. See, imagine, people are coming to a sadhu even for this problem. So immediately he told to one of his disciples that you go and make sure water does not enter the village. So he was trying, and by the time he reached, already water pressure was too much on the wall. So started breaking wall. There was cracks and some pieces of mud were coming out. So he tried to stop, put some more mud, nothing is happening. And what he did, he laid down there. To stop the water, he laid down himself personally. And water was stopped. And the Guru came personally to him, saying that, my dear son, you have taken so much trouble just for me. And then Guru blessed him. The same sage had one more disciple who was a little fatty, chubby, and he was like, he liked to eat more than what is required. He will eat a lot. Now earlier times, when especially in the Gurukul, so boys will stay in Gurukul and they will go in the morning after completing their morning rituals, yagya or chanting and havan, they do in the recitation of all the shlokas. They go out and get either some food, someone will go get some logs of wood for making prasadam, and others will go and beg alms, rice, dal, whatever they get from the villages for the Guru. And they're supposed to come and give everything to the spiritual master, the head of that Guru. And then he will arrange for some more people to cook that. Now after that, Guru will call. If he is calling, it's okay. You take prasad. If he forgets to call you, you fast. So anytime Guru does not instruct, that means today we are supposed to fast. Yeah. Anyway, we don't have such system now. Otherwise, it will be difficult. Imagine 3 o'clock after this, the prasadam. And we all be searching, where is Guru? Where is Guru? Who is Guru? We don't know. And by the time, maybe your authority, you have some Shiksha Guru. He has gone for some other service. And he will come after 4 hours. Phone is not reachable. So today, by mercy, seeing the present condition, it has been sanctioned that you take prasadam at a prasadam times. See, so much mercy is there in Kali Yuga. People unnecessarily blame this Kali Yuga. There are so many problems. Vyasadeva has written everything in 12th canto. So many problems. And just because we are in so much problem, Krishna is so much compassionate on us, so much more merciful on us. It's like a mother has 4 children. One is very bright, very studious, very educated, and knows everything how to do perfect. He does not need he does not need any attention at all. He will take care. Okay. Second person is good in studies, but cannot manage the things properly, cannot remain clean. So he needs some attention, some training. Third person, he cannot manage the thing. He is not studious. Every time he is getting back, semester back, year down. Every time mother has to go and talk to principal, sir, please this time, please excuse him. We promise that we will disconnect we will disconnect this dish TVs and all that, so he will not watch TV and he will pass. I've seen parents doing this, begging in front of principals. So what to do? Child is like that. And then this, okay, he needs a lot of attention. Now imagine the fourth child, who is the youngest, and he's handicapped. He cannot walk, he cannot talk, hardly he can see, little mental problems. How much more attention? Mother will not throw him away, no? But Kali Yuga, anything is possible. Nowadays mothers and fathers, they are becoming like demons, throwing their child if he is inefficient or he is having some problem. They do test nowadays. That you can see in the womb only, that whether child will have any problem. If he has problem, abortion. Because of your karma, that diseased child was coming in your life. You would have taken care and finish off your karma. But now, you don't want that karma, you don't want results of your karma in that way, and you went for further deterioration and doing sinful activities like abortion. How much more karma will come? Unlimited. One of the most sinful activities that. But anyways, we are not talking about that. If mother and father, genuine mother and father take care, how much more attention will be given? So it's like that. Kali Yuga is the most contaminated of all the yugas. And people are most like people who were good, they got liberation, Satyuga. Then filter out in Treta Yuga, some went down. Then further filter in Kali Yuga, Dwapar Yuga. And now all kachara is remaining. 3 filter laga diya na. What is remaining? But still Krishna is so more compassionate on us. So, this disciple of this guru was, whenever he will go and beg alms, he will come and give to Guru. Now, Guru will not call him sometime. But still this spiritual master saw, Hare, I am not calling him for prasadam, still this fellow has a fat belly. How is he maintaining his body? So he asked him one day, come here. How are you maintaining your body? He said, whatever I bring for you, Guru Maharaj, something, because I feel so hungry, something I eat on my way only. And then give remaining. He said, Hare, what kind of a student you are? You're supposed to bring whatever you get, bring to me. Whatever you get, you bring to me next time. Don't take anything. Okay, Guru Maharaj, I will not take. Then he says, then after 15 days, again he saw, this fellow is giving, and I'm not calling for prasadam. Still he is very stout and happy. How is it possible? So he said, he called him again. He said, so, his name was Abhimanyu, Prabhuji? I forgot his name. So, Upamanyu. So, he called him again that, how are you still able to maintain your body so nicely? Are you giving me everything what you bring for me? Yes, Guru Maharaj. Then how, what is, he says, I go at 10 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the evening I come, 6 hours I work for you. Then again I go, I beg again further alms for me. He said, it's like dual job. In India it is illegal. It's like you're working for one big company, morning 8 to evening 6 o'clock, then you go and, people do some home tuition and something. So now I'm doing for my own belly. So again he is breaking the principle, not instructed by Guru, again eating. So he said, nothing begging more. Whatever you bring, you only beg for me and bring it back. Okay, now you will not go out. Do seva in Goshala. Okay. Now Goshala, he will still same. Not reducing belly. Arey, you are so much away from your mother, Your mother is 10, 15 kilometers away. Still you are maintaining. How is it possible? He said, I work in Goshala, na? So I drink milk. I take milk of cow and drink. Then he said, such a notorious fellow, mischievous. Then he said, don't drink milk. Whatever milk cow gives, you should bring here. Okay. So everything, all the milk will be given him. But again same, it was going on. He said, now how are you maintaining? He said, when milk goes now, so whatever little is remaining, on the udders of cow, I'll drink that. Which is anyway does not come into the bucket, which is like around the udder, so I take that and eat. Then he said, you will not, understand, so you will not improve. You go out to the jungle and bring firewoods. Now what will you eat? Tough service, bringing firewoods. So he went to jungle, he started feeling so hungry because he could not control his hunger. He was feeling so hungry. Somehow he saw few berry trees. And without understanding what those berries are, he took the berries and ate. They were poisonous. And he became blind. With those, the effect of berry was, he became blind. And as he was walking, he was crying, he was not able to see anything. He fell into a ditch. And then he's crying, he's howling, he's calling his guru. No one is able to listen because he's very deep in the ditch. No one is able to listen. And then he realized, this is mercy of Guru. He never blamed his Guru. What kind of service my Guru gave me to send me to this firewoods, and he didn't give even me dabba. He didn't give me even lunchbox to carry, and I have to eat these berries, poisonous berries. Now I'm blind. He never blamed his Guru. That is a disciple, and that is mercy. Sometimes we will not understand what mercy, in which form. So then two Ashwini Kumaras, the demigods, came, and they said, now he was repenting that every time I have disturbed my Guru, I will never follow his instruction, and because of not following his instruction, this is the reaction I am facing. So next time I will not eat anything without his permission. Never means never. So Ashwini Kumaras, two demigods, they came to test him. And the Upamanyu, we have come here and we have brought medicine. Take these leaves and eat and you will become all right. He said no. See, till now, it was only question of maintaining his body, which is easy to control. Now he's almost become, he is blind, fallen in a ditch. And now someone is coming and telling them, eat these few leaves and you will be perfectly all right, your eyes will come back. But then he says, no. Until unless my Guru says, I will not eat anything. And by the time it was evening, it was dark, and this Guru and his few disciples, they started searching, where has he gone? So then they came searching, and they found that he's fallen in a ditch. And then he was repenting, he asked forgiveness. And then his Guru instructed, okay, whatever medicine they are giving to you, take it. And he took, he became all right. And then he said, my Gurudev, I will never do anything, I will never eat anything without a permission from now onwards. And then Guru blessed him. He said, my dear Upamanyu, for me, you have taken so much effort, you have taken so much troubles coming to this forest. Had so many incidents happen with you. So today I bless you. You have taken all these troubles for me. And then he blessed. So it's everything possible just by Guru's blessing. And there are so many stories. We see even Krishna and Balaram, when they were studying under Sandipani Muni near Ujjain. So there Sandipani Muni says that, my dear Krishna and Balaram, you have taken so much trouble for me. Because Guru is grateful to the student because he is doing service. Student is grateful to Guru because he is giving mercy. That's the relationship. Our Ramanujacharya, he has so many wonderful pastimes with his gurus, with his disciples. Ramanujacharya had one disciple called Kuresh. And that time, in the south, there was always a fight in the south, in the southern India, there was always a fight between Shaivites and Vaishnavas. Whether Vishnu is supreme, whether Shiva is supreme. So in Ramanujacharya's time, the king was a Shaivite. So there was a lot of opposition, and they were Vaishnavas. There was a lot of problem, politics, so many things. And once it happened that because of the influence of his minister, the king ordered to be called, they told Ramanujacharya should come to the court, and they had planned that they will pop out his eyes. They will take out his eyes. So Kuresh, he understood that this is the plan. So he told his Gurudev, Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya, one of the main acharyas. You know this Tirupati temple, Sri Rangam temple, Sri Sampradaya. The main acharya of that Sampradaya is Ramanujacharya, who appeared on this planet almost 800-900 years. He is the incarnation of Lakshmanji or Anantashesh. Ramanujacharya, younger brother of Ram, Lord Ram. Very powerful acharya who preached all over to make sure that everyone follows pure devotional service, the path of devotional service. So then his disciple Kuresh, he said, my Gurudev, no one has seen you before. So let me go and do this service for you. And Ramanujacharya knows, and Kuresh knows that there's a danger to the life whoever will go. So Kuresh said, I will take your dress, I will appear like you, I will make appearance like you, and I will go and say that I am Ramanujacharya. Whatever difficulty will come, I will accept as blessings of yours. Ramanujacharya said, no. This is, I should face whatever problem. This for me, how you can go? Kuresh said, no. Even if anything happens to me, there's no loss. You should go and give blessing to everyone. So then somehow Ramanujacharya agreed just to glorify Kuresh. And Kuresh went and his eyes were taken out. So everything was settled. Then Kuresh and Ramanujacharya, they went to Sri Rangam. And Ramanujacharya told Kuresh to go. Now here is a disciple who's surrendering his life for Guru. So Ramanujacharya told Kuresh, you go to Lord Ranganath and ask him to give your eyes back, and he must give you. So Kuresh went as instruction of the spiritual master. He went inside, but he didn't ask for his eyes. He asked that how people are suffering in the world, my Lord, please bless them, and came back. So Ramanujacharya, so did you ask eyes back from Lord? He said no. So he said, again go back. This time you must ask eyes. Again he went, again he asked for some benediction for others. He is not asking anything from himself. In 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna is talking to Uddhav. And Lord Krishna is saying that, my dear Uddhav, whatever desires my devotees have, whatever they ask me, I will fulfill like this. If they ask the universe, if they ask all the universe, if they ask all the creation, if they ask Vaikuntha, I will give them. Whatever they desire, whatever they ask, I will fulfill their desire. Only problem is that my devotees never ask anything to me. Krishna is ready to fulfill the desire, but Krishna is expressing his, not inability, but his concern, saying that, my dear Uddhav, my devotees never ask me anything. Even though I can fulfill, I want to fulfill all their desires. We see Prahlad Maharaj case, when Prahlad's father was killed by Lord Narsingadev. Narsingadev told Prahlad Maharaj, please ask something. And Prahlad is saying, my Lord, do you think that I'm practicing devotional service as a businessman? Do you consider me a baniya, that I shall ask some favor? I don't want. The Lord said, no, you charge something. He said, I don't want. Lord said, I am not very happy. I want to give you something. So please ask for my sake, for my happiness. Please ask something for my happiness. So he said, okay. My Lord, please be merciful on my father. He is a demon and he has offended you. So please be merciful on him. So here we see how actually devotees don't ask anything. Rather, they are ready to give everything. And that is what we are seeing in the case of Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj knows, and that's what here he writes, Srila Prabhupada writes. Bali Maharaj regularly maintained, as we saw, Prahlad Maharaj gave him the seed of devotion. Then what happened? Bali Maharaj regularly maintained devotion for the Lord, and because he was purified. By maintaining that, maintained devotion matlab practicing devotional service, practicing the rules and regulation of devotional service, he was purified. And because he was purified, Lord appeared before him. Because of unalloyed love for the Lord, he then immediately decided, I shall give this little dwarf Brahmana whatever he asks me. This is a sign of love. It's not business. Yes, Bali Maharaj could have easily told to this Brahmana that I was joking. I'll not give you 3 steps. Shukracharya gave him so many ways to save himself. But he said no. Prabhupada writes, this is love. Love, and this shows what is love and what is lust. Generally people in this material world, they take it lust as a love. Lust means exploitation. I want. That's lust. What isn't for me? Everything is moving around me. I am the center. So that is lust. And love means what can I do for you? How can I serve you? There is a difference. Simple difference. Now we can see and understand what is going on in the world. If I am the center, that is lust. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives this very clear definition. Atmendriya priti vancha, tare bole kam. Krishnendriya priti ichha, dhare prema naam. Atmendriya. If anything I am doing for my own sense gratification, that is lust. That is calm. And that will, even though my desires will be fulfilled, even though I'll be able to gratify my senses, my heart will burn with the fire of dissatisfaction, with the fire of frustration. That will burn. Because we are doing. Now, suppose, okay, after the lecture there's prasad. Now you see, oh, very nice. Today there is gulab jamun. It looks so beautiful. It looks beautiful. That does not mean that you will take gulab jamun, open your eyes and put inside. What will happen? First thing, you will not, it will not give you energy because it didn't reach the stomach. Second thing, it didn't give you any pleasure, rather it gave you displeasure, problem. Okay, now I have suffered, I have understood that food is not supposed to be put in the eye. Then you go ahead, oh, what is this? This is pulao. So aromatic. Pure spices they have put, very nice aroma is coming. Then you take so much in the plate and you go and lie down and then start putting all the rice particles in your nose. And breathe from the mouth. What else you do? Will it give any happiness? Will it give any nourishment, a satisfaction? We have the right product, but we are using in a wrong way. So that is what sense gratification is. That is what I do for myself. everything should be given to stomach. It appears that stomach is not doing anything. Srila Prabhupada tells us this story that once all the senses, eyes, legs, hands, mouth, everything came for a meeting except stomach. They didn't call stomach. They wanted to have some closed room meetings. And they decided that we work so hard, and this Petu stomach, he sits, he's like what you call couch potato. He sits at one place, does anything, and eats. And we are all working. So today, let's all decide that we will not work. We are on strike. So all the senses went on strike. And we will meet after 15 days, after 2 weeks, and we will see what is the result. So they are very enthusiastic. Yes, strike. Everything got uploaded on internet, everyone knows, all news, everyone, media is now strike. Today that is a big news. Anyone does strike is a big news. Recently some people were doing some strike in some of the cities and rains came. Everyone has to run away from there. Morning they sat there for the strike, Amshan, that what do you call? Anshan, something they call in Hindi. Strike, they sat there for by the afternoon, so heavy rains came, all their pandal and all were thrown. Evening they were all home, probably watching TV. So they were on strike. And after 2 weeks, they are very enthusiastic. After 15 days, they are coming back. So mouth is not doing any service of eating. Hand is not doing service anything of giving to the mouth. Eyes is not doing service. Legs are not doing service. So if you are not doing service, you should be enthusiastic. You should save energy. You serve. When you use your body, it becomes, energy level goes down. You don't do anything, what happens? Suppose you sleep for 72 hours. You lie down on the bed for 72 hours. You should become very energetic, no? Because you have saved all the energy. But doesn't work. And same thing happened in this meeting also. So after 15 days they came, they all were tired. Walking inside somehow in the conference hall. Like we are meeting, they also met after 15 days. So what happened? And then everyone is saying that earlier we used to work so hard and give everything to the stomach, and somehow still we will be feeling so much energetic. We had so much energy, and now we are not feeding him, feeding the stomach, but we are not feeling energetic. How is that? There was some intelligent sense. He said, you are all fools. He said, even though it appears that stomach is not doing anything and we are all working hard and putting everything in the stomach, but stomach is the main entity which takes that food and forms energy out of, makes energy or extracts energy out of that food and supplies to the entire body. Sometimes we make chapatis or puri, they are very soft, touch the finger very soft. Does that mean you will touch the finger to chapatis for 10 hours and it will give you nourishment? Hold chapati in your hand and hand should be nourished. It's a very graphical example. This is given in Bhagavatam, that everything should be given to stomach. Root, all the water should be given to the root of the tree, not to the leaves. You go and spray, small sprayers you take and spray all over the tree. Take a big injection which is given to the horse and go and put it in the branches and stems. It will not give nourishment. Similarly, everything is for Krishna. And that it will nourish us back. And that's why the second line Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Krishna Indra Priti Ichha Dhare Premana. That is love. And here Bali Maharaj is showing, that is love. I have decided, Bali Maharaj said, whatever my Guru says. Now, actually in this shloka we discuss, now time is over, maybe next week someone will discuss or it will come, that till now, today we discuss the importance of Guru in our life. We need spiritual master and we need Krishna. We need both. We need the representative of Krishna and Krishna. But in this case now you may say, Hare, it appears very different here, what we are discussing. Here is this fellow Bali Maharaj who is disregarding his guru. Indra, another demigod, has to run away from their palaces, and they were defeated thoroughly because they disregarded their guru. And now he is disregarding his guru. But here is a special case, which we will discuss further. So, what we discussed today, the importance of the process of bhakti, and how when we want to enter in the spiritual realm, we need two things. One is Guru and one is Krishna. And how by serving Guru we get blessings. We saw few examples. By serving Guru we get so much mercy and blessings, and then we flourish. We receive, and ultimately we achieve the mercy of Krishna in the form of Krishna Prem, Krishna Pumartho Mahan. That is the goal of life. I was talking recently to some person who follows certain religion. I will not name what religion. But he said, you should read these books. You are very educated young man who have sacrificed your life for preaching. You should read this book. Okay, I'll read it. Then what? Then you should understand and apply in your life. And then you should preach. I said, okay, but what will I gain by preaching this book and not my book? What will I gain? He said, you will gain power. You will gain name, fame. You will become so famous. And then you will say, बारिश हो जाओ, बारिश हो जाएगा. Then you will say, stop, बारिश रुक जाएगा. I said, very nice, thank you very much. Now my train is about to leave. ये रुकेगा नहीं अभी मेरे को, तो मैं ट्रेन में चढ़ता हूँ. So religion, people have made, you preach religion and you attain power. And then what? And then you become God. And then you can go and challenge the original God. That is religion in Kali Yuga. That is what religion has become. So this is not religion. Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us. Prema Pumartho Mahan. The goal of life is to attain Krishna Prema. So we'll stop here. If any questions we can take for next few minutes. Yes, Prabhuji. Can you please repeat?
Bali Maharaj conquered the universe, obviously for his sense gratification. So you said that he was a devotee. Suppose I also do like this for sense gratification. Till I surrender to its fruits to God, I am self-centered. So how he was devotee before he surrendered to God? He was a demon acquiring wealth from all over the universe. And when he surrendered, that time he became the devotee, not before.
Yes, that time he achieved the perfection. But here Srila Prabhupada clearly writes, by grace of Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, by the grace of Prahlad Maharaj, got the seed of devotional service. And when that seed developed, he achieved the ultimate fruit of that service, namely love of God. He achieved that. But till that time also he was devotee, he was practicing devotional service. Now that may not be ultimate success, what he was practicing.
He was practicing devotion.
Hmm.
At the same time, he was practicing sense gratification also, of the highest degree.
No, it's not like, he was not like Hiranyakashipu. Even though he was ruling over the universe, it is like two political parties. The demigods and the demons. The demigods are also ruling, but they are directly under Krishna. The demons are not directly under Krishna, but there are few who are exceptions, like Prahlad Maharaj, like Bali Maharaj. They were not like Hiranyakashipu. Even though Bali Maharaj, we don't see him like Prahlad Maharaj from childhood, but he was not like Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was into sense gratification, the definition, not Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj was doing yajna at that time. And he was so, Hiranyakashipu, when he became the controller of the universe, he immediately ordered all the brahmanas should be killed, all the cows should be killed. Because these are the two people who give nourishment to Vishnu. Hiranyakashipu was thinking that cows will give milk, and milk will become ghee, and ghee this brahmanas will take and put in the fire, and then Vishnu will get strength. So kill these two, Vishnu will be defeated. But he was doing yajna, and there is a Brahmana who has come and who's begging, and he knows that he will take everything from me, he is ready to give. So he was following Brahminical culture. He was a true Kshatriya, where he was doing sense gratification. Now in early days, there were kings who may keep many wives. That is a different thing. Who will have a lot of wealth. But they were ruling properly as per the codes of scriptures. So that's not demoniac. But then after that he achieved perfect. Till today, Bali Maharaj is ruling in the Sutal planet. He is a king and he will become the next Indra. It's already, Lord told him, you will become next Indra. When this Indra will vacate the seat, next Indra is already booked. That will be taken care by Krishna. Yes, obviously he has to go to heavenly planets. But now also he is ruling, and Lord Vamandev is standing as his doorkeeper. Till now. So that is not sense gratification.
Actually, sense gratification for Kshatriya and Vaishya are just normal. Only Brahmana has to accept the voluntary poverty, and the Shudras have to accept the forced poverty.
Mahaprabhu says very simple, which I recited. Atma Indra Priti Vancha Tare Bole Kam. Krishna Indra Priti Ichha Dhare Premna. If you are doing everything for Krishna, you may be president of India. But if you are doing for Krishna, now you cannot say I am president of India, you are doing for Krishna. So that does not mean that, oh, I am a devotee, I shall, walk Char Dham and do parikramas. No, that time there are security concerns, so practical concern. You cannot do that, but you are a devotee within your heart. Exhibition may be in a different way, but devotion is same. So whether it is Brahman, whether it's Kshatriya, whether it's Shudra, or whether it's Vaishya, it's the heart, it's the consciousness, it is not how you appear. And we see this in example of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He was like a king, but when the recitation of shloka happened by Gadadhar Pandit, what happened? So inside the heart, what is the consciousness, what is the feeling for Krishna, that will decide whether we are devotees or not. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, Naker tilak galera kanti mala ye to hai kalli rachela. We have tilak on our nose and we have kanti mala. But we may be kalli chela. Who knows? That does not decide that we are wearing dhoti kurta, we have joined ashram, we have shaved our head, we are wearing saffron, we are taking sannyas. That is not devotion. That's external. There are many people who are completely demoniac and have taken volunteer vow of poverty. And they have started so many adharma, kaitava dharma. I mean, you can understand what I am taking. Many people, they give up everything, they give up wife, they say my wife is mother, and they start their new religion. That is sense gratification. Even though they are living like a guru, they are living in poverty, but that is sense gratification. But they are not going as per scriptures. It's not the external. It's the consciousness.
When gods and demons are fighting like this, they are our superiors, they are our offspring, from which we love. Like in our family, our father, uncle, auntie, they are all fighting. What the children will take the message from them. Similarly, if the gods and demons are over all the generations, they are fighting, and we are asked to be peaceful, quiet. Is it not a contradiction?
Who's telling you not to fight? Did Prabhupada said we should not fight? We can.
Then after that one we start fighting. We are supposed to be peaceful.
Not that kind of fighting. You should fight with your own negativity. You should go and preach. That is fighting against Maya. That is the war against Maya. You can make people devotees. That is war against Maya. And you learn one lesson from this Bali Maharaj episode. Bali Maharaj was a demon. He was a devotee in the family of demon. Here Indra and other demigods, they are devotees. Whenever both Vishnu came in front, they surrendered. So whether we are fighting now, but when Vishnu comes, we should surrender. That is the real test. When they were in problem, demigods, they went to Aditi, Aditi prayed to Vishnu and Vishnu came. And here is Bali Maharaj, supposedly a demon, but then when Vishnu came, he surrendered. So even though they are fighting, why you are taking that teachings? You see, they are fighting for the Shasan. Okay. But you see the teachings, they surrendered everything. And that much we can learn. If we learn that, that is success. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki.